Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new for Chanel Spring. I'm going to be using the eyeshadow quad and also the illuminating blush as well. This is for sale, this collection in the UK, and it also has been released in Asia as well as I believe in some Chanel boutiques in Europe as well. Now in New Zealand, I'm not too sure about Australia, but I was speaking with my sales associate a little while ago, and apparently at the beginning of March, the blush is going to be released in New Zealand and the quad later on, but she seemed a bit confused. But there's definitely going to be some of these products released about the beginning of March, either the 1st or the 2nd. And I understand that in the US, this is going to be released around about the 1st or 2nd of March as well. So we'll take a look at the eyeshadow quad first. I already have my base makeup on, and today for the first time I mixed with the foundation. It's a Chanel foundation. Those of you that haven't seen my videos before, I am 53 years old and I also have oily skin as well. It is summer here in New Zealand at the moment. But I mixed together with the Chanel foundation. It is the Beiges Sheer Healthy Glow highlighting fluid, and I put it together with the foundation and I think it looks really, really beautiful. I just put a pump of this in with the foundation, mixed it together, and I think it just gives a really gorgeous finish. So the packaging that the eyeshadow quad comes in, it is number 68. This is Delices, and the outside of the packaging matches the shades of the eyeshadows inside. So really, really lovely pastels. This has a shelf life from 18 months of date of opening, and it is made in Italy. The outside of the eyeshadow quad is just the standard packaging with the white Chanel logo, the interlocked CCs, and here is the color story. This is number 68, Delices, and it is really lovely pastels. Now, I haven't tried this yet and I haven't swatched it either. I've only taken photos of this for Instagram, and I've also done a couple of short videos for YouTube as well. I think this is really, really lovely. So I'm just going to turn the lights off in front of me and hold it up to the camera so you can take a really good look at it. The embossing on these eyeshadows is really beautiful. It has that fabric embossing on it and also the Chanel logo as well. And on the UK Chanel website, it says that Les Ombres Eyeshadow is a soft, light new version of the iconic Chanel eye palette. It's composed of 3 fresh, sparkling pastel shades that contrast with a brownish, luminous matte mauve. These 4 eyeshadows form a harmony that combines lightness and depth. It's embossed with a fabric-like design and the emblematic double C. The new palette gives eyes a more open, illuminated look with its shimmering iridescent colours. There's a slightly pale satiny purple, a matte powder pink, a brownish luminous matte mauve, and a pearly tangy pastel yellow. And they say that this gives a kiss of spring makeup look. Now, not too long ago, Chantecaille released their spring makeup. I did a video on that and I thought that was just absolutely beautiful. So I'm hoping this is going to look gorgeous as well. I've tried a couple of new products recently. One, the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Concealer, and also the new Gucci foundation. Neither of those were that great. I thought they were just sort of average, okay. So I'm hoping that this Chanel eyeshadow and blush are just going to be absolutely beautiful. So first of all, I'm going to swatch these. I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand. So these are swatched from left to right and top to bottom. And first of all, we have, it's a satin purple. Then we have the matte. This is the matte powder in the pink. And this pink has a little bit of brown in it as well. Then we have a brown mauve. This is a matte, although it has a bit of luminosity to it as well. And finally is the pastel yellow. This has a bit more opacity than I thought it was going to have. This could perhaps work as a topper shade, although it's not as light as some topper shades like you get in some of the Dior Quince. It has a bit more opacity than that. So I'm going to use all 4 shades of this eyeshadow quad on my eyes today. When more products become available, when I can pick them up here in New Zealand, I will be doing at least one more video and doing some different eye looks with this quad as well. So first of all, I'm going to start off, I think, with this pink colour in here. I'm just going to take my Rapha number 14 brush, and I'm going to put that, I don't know whether I'll put it all over my lid. I think I'm going to put this through the crease and just take it slightly above as well. Although I'm going to use all 4 of these colours today, I do think, especially after swatching it, that this quad would look really beautiful using just 2 colours at a time as well. I think the purple colour on its own with a little bit of this mauve brown, and also the mauve brown by itself with a little bit of the yellow. I think those 2 shades, wearing them by themselves, would look really, really pretty. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of this pink colour, and I'm just still keeping it in the crease, and I'm just going to take it slightly above as well. Then I'm going to go into this brown mauve shade, and I'm going to put some of this in the outer corner. Now this does give, it gives more depth than I thought it was going to, so I'm pleased about that. When I first saw some of the early photos of this quad, I thought perhaps it isn't that pigmented. And although it's just going to be a really soft look, there definitely, at the moment, there seems to be enough pigment so that at least you can see the shades. And at the moment, I think they are really, really lovely. I'm going to take the Sony G, this is the pencil one, and I'm just going to stay with this brown mauve shade for the meantime. And I'm just going to put some of this on my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the Sony G, this is the Builder 3, and I'm going to go into this purple shade here, and I'm just going to put that through here, and I'm also going to take it above as well and just blend it into that matte brown mauve shade. And then I'm just going to go back into that first shade again, just using a very fluffy brush, and I'm just going to take it through here just to soften this line out. You can hardly see the shade, especially when I'm using such a fluffy brush, but I'm just softening out those other 2 shades. Then I'm going to take my Chukahodo brush and go into this yellow. Now with the other 3 shades, there is no fallout. There's possibly going to be a little bit with the shade here. And I'm just going to just put some of that just over that purple. And I'm just going to take it up just in through here. And then I'm going to put some of this shade here, the yellow, in a corner and underneath my lower lash line as well. So for that, I'm going to use the applicator that came with the quad. This is the one with the sponge tip. Just have a bit more control, and the sponges tend to pick up quite a bit of pigment as well. So I'm going to dot some in a corner and just run just a little bit through here as well. Then I'm just going back to the Sony G, this is the pencil one. I'll just wipe it on the cloth in front of me, and I'm going to go into this shade here and just see if I can just get a little bit more depth just in the outer corner. And also with the same shade, just a little bit more on the lower lash line as well. So I just used a little bit of Chanel eyeliner just to give a little bit of definition. I didn't go too heavy, and of course my favorite Chanel Le Volume mascara, and that definitely makes it pop. So this is with all 4 of the shadows on, and I think this blended beautifully, and I think this gives just such a gorgeous soft spring look. I think this is really, really pretty. So now let's take a look at this really beautiful blush. Again, like the eyeshadow quad, it comes in one of the boxes that has the different colors on the side. There are the 2 different shades. This is called the Fantaisie de Chanel Illuminating Blush Powder. This is limited edition. The eyeshadow quad is limited edition as well. It has 7 grams of product. This is made in Italy, and this also has a shelf life of 18 months from date of opening. The blush does come with its own brush. Now you can use these brushes. They are very soft. I will be using one of my own brushes today, but these also do a good job as well, and I always keep them with the blushes. So this is an illuminating blush, so there's going to be illumination in it and just doubling as that blush as well. So this is going to be interesting to see what it's like. Now, I do think that Chanel excel with their illuminating products. You tend to get shimmer, but usually it's very subtle and there's not too much. The ones that I've used from Chanel, they give a beautiful luminosity to the skin, and they don't tend to emphasize the texture, and I think they are fabulous for mature skin. So just like with the eyeshadow quad, I haven't tried this yet. I've only taken photos of it and also short videos of it for Instagram and also for shorts on YouTube. And this also just has the standard Chanel packaging, and here is the blush. This embossing on this is just absolutely beautiful. I think it's just gorgeous. Again, like with the eyeshadows, it has that fabric texture embossing on it with the interlocked C's. I just think it's really, really beautiful. So once again, I'm just going to turn down the lights in front of me and hold it up so you can take a good look at it. So the shade of this is Pastel Future, and Chanel on the UK website says, inspired by the lightness of summer, Fantaisie de Chanel exclusive creation is an illuminating blush powder that leaves a shimmering veil on the skin. They say that the Pastel Fuchsia powder is the first exclusive creation by Chanel to be designed using the tie-dye technology, which makes every item unique. It's enhanced with a hint of delicately rosy colour. The complexion is left looking fresh and radiant, and like I said, it is limited edition. They say that the composition of this illuminating blush powder is the first exclusive creation by Chanel to feature the tie-dye technology. As they were saying in the description of it, it combines the 2 shades, a rose gold and a radiant pink, to form a unique pattern. So I'm going to swatch this on the back of my hand so you can take a look. So when I'm just looking at it here, I can see a hint perhaps of rose gold. This definitely leans more cooler, I think, than warmer. So when I swatch this on the back of my hand, it definitely feels super smooth. It feels really lovely. So it is an illuminating powder. I don't see it. It'll be interesting to see what it's like on the cheeks, but it doesn't look chunky or glittery in any way. It just has this beautiful luminosity to it. I think it looks really, really lovely. So as well as the foundation that I've got on today, I've also got on a Chanel bronzer as well. It is on very, very lightly because I really wanted to have this blush shine in this video. But everything that I'm putting on my face today, I will have listed and linked in the description box below. So I'm going to take a Chukuhodo brush. This is a newer brush for me. I got this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I've been using it with a whole lot of different blush products, the powder ones, and I think it is a really lovely brush and diffuses product really beautifully. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes with this. So I'm just going to give a good swirl in the pan here. One thing with this blush, I do think that the embossing will stay for quite a while. And I imagine that this is going to be buildable. So I swirled the brush a few times in there, and you do get quite a bit of payoff. I won't need to dip it into here again. So that is just such a beautiful colour, and just like they say, it does give, it's a luminosity. It gives a lit from within glow. I think it is really, really beautiful. So just swirl it in there again and just do the other side. It's blending out really, really beautifully. So I think the blush is absolutely beautiful. I do think it is gorgeous. I've just taken out of my drawer, it's one of the new Bobbi Brown, the brightening blushes, and I've just pulled out the one blushed pink. I did a video on this about 2 or 3 weeks ago because I picked up all 5 shades, and I know a lot of people have also purchased this shade. So I'm just going to mix all of these shades in together, and I'm just going to do a swatch beside the Chanel blush just so you can see what they look like side by side. So this is the new Bobbi Brown brightening blush. This is in the one blushed up in pink, and here is the new Chanel one. So you can definitely see there is more luminosity with the Chanel one. The Chanel one is perhaps a little bit cooler as well than the Bobbi Brown one. And the Bobbi Brown one, I would say, has more pigment than the Chanel one. But then, of course, this is an illuminating blush, so I'm not surprised that this is a little bit lighter. But that's what they are like side by side. So the Chanel and the Bobbi Brown. And then for lipstick, I've got the Chanel. I was going to use one of their balm lipsticks, but instead I'm going to use the Chanel. It's the Rouge Allure. This is number 194, and it comes in the pop top. And I think this will go really lovely with the rest of the makeup. So I just think the finished look is really, really pretty. I think that the eyeshadow quad is just gorgeous, and I'm really looking forward to trying this, as I was talking about earlier, just using a couple of shades at a time. I think with all 4 it works better than I thought it was going to, but I do think a couple of shades at a time would look really lovely as well, and also makes this quad quite versatile as well. But like I said, when I'm able to get my hands on more products of this collection, I will use this quad again, and I'll probably use either these 2 shades or perhaps these 2 shades. I think either would look really beautiful. These blended beautifully. There wasn't, from what I can see, there wasn't any fallout. I thought there might be with this shade here, because you can see there's a little bit of fallout through here. I do think it depends on how you get or pick the product up to begin with. Instead of digging in, you just got to be quite gentle. I mean, I didn't get any fallout. I used both the Sonia G, the pencil one brush, and also the little sponge tip applicator, and both worked really lovely. I do think the sponge tip gave really good payoff for in a corner, and I think that it gives a beautiful brightening as well. It's such a pretty spring look. I think this is really, really beautiful. The blush is outstanding. I think the blush is absolutely gorgeous, As I was saying earlier, both the eyeshadow and the blush, these are both going to be limited edition. I'm going to get a backup of this blush, and I'm probably also going to get a backup of the eyeshadow quad as well. I think both are just gorgeous. The blush gives a beautiful lit from within glow. It's not too much. It's not a wet look, which is what I don't like anyway for me with my mature skin, but it gives a healthy, just a really healthy, beautiful glow. I think it is really, really stunning. And I'm loving the Chanel foundation that I used with the Les Beiges, the Sheer Healthy Glow, the highlighting fluid. I think it just gives a really healthy look to the skin, and I think the overall look is just really, really pretty. So that's it for today's video. I'd love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.